Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Globe Interviews. Today I have with me Oren Bennett, Chief Business Officer of Punch Games. So hi Oren, how are you?
Hi, pretty good. Just flew in from Las Vegas.
Yeah, are you tired at all? Jet lagged?
Maybe a little bit tired. Just got a few hours. Not sure if I'm jet lagged just yet.
All right, got to push through it. Right, so let's just jump into it. So Oren, could you give us a brief introduction to Punch Games?
Sure. We're a Web3 esports platform for people to earn cash and crypto in the easiest way by playing games and participating in esports tournaments on mobile. The team itself is from FunPlus, Machine Zone, Magic Tavern, which ended up getting acquired by AppLovin, Huobi, Google. So pretty cool.
Can you talk us through your roadmap at Punch Games, and are there any exciting features that you're looking forward to?
Sure. So we're hoping to sort of finish the cash tournament feature by the end of April, and then sort of the crypto tournament / crypto deposit feature by the end of May, which will allow players to deposit Doge, Bitcoin, ETH, Shima Inu inside our app in order to participate in our tournaments instead of cash, in addition to using our own Punch token. And then we plan to release sort of our public SDK around June. That will include all social systems, so players can voice chat, message, and video chat each other while they're playing our games. We'll also have live streaming, so players can live stream the sessions in our app store. And then thirdly, we're going to have an NFT system. So not only will we be creating our own categories of NFTs, we'll also have them be interoperable in all our games.
What makes Punch Games stand out from your competitors?
Great question. So by June, we're going to have multiplayer. So what that means is that all our games are PvP games. Initially, they're 1v1. And we'll be able to support 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, and 5v5 by June. And most of our competitors don't have multiplayer. We'll also have some very special NFTs. For example, we have an Influence NFT. So if any player buys sort of a co-branded Influence NFT, they can burn it to book time to play with that particular influencer on a platform in our games.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. So it's very social.
Yeah. And then we also have some other special NFTs too that are sort of secret right now that we haven't announced yet. They're basically designed to give back to the initial players of our games.
What do you mean by initial players?
Sure. So one of these special NFTs, which is still a secret right now, we haven't really revealed the mechanics of it yet, but it's really going to focus on sort of the first 50,000 players of any of our games. So we're doing sort of an app store of our Web3 games, and the first sort of 50,000 players will have sort of a special opportunity to sort of get this special NFT, and there'll be different benefits for holding on to this NFT. And yeah, if you're part of the first 50,000, then you have a chance to get it. But I can't really reveal too much yet.
So what does the future of crypto and NFTs look like, and what role does Punch play in this?
Sure. So we believe NFTs are sort of the stepping stone of the metaverse. And we're sort of trying to show that there's much more than NFTs than just it being a JPEG. And that we're looking to basically have a bunch of utilizations for the kind of NFTs we're going to have to sort of show players and sort of show the world that there's more than NFTs than just a pretty picture.
So obviously revenue is, one of the most important factors. So how have you kind of built this platform at Punch? And also what are the key, revenue models for Punch?
Sure. So similar to exchanges, players win and lose tournaments, and every sort of transaction or every tournament, we get a commission on. So sort of similar to how exchanges operate, where every sort of transaction the exchange gets sort of a percentage of, we also get a percentage of every single tournament. So it's a very long-term sustainable model.
Absolutely, yeah. So how long have you guys been going for? Like, when did you guys launch?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I mean, we didn't launch 2 years ago, but Our original co-founders, Leo and Will, started working on the platform and SDK 2 years ago.
Nice. So what kind of skills-based tournaments are there?
Sure. So we have PvP tournaments, and we're going to have 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4, and 5v5. And then we're going to have cash tournaments. We're going to have crypto tournaments. So you can use not just cash, but also on a punch token in all our tournaments. And we're calling sort of these types of sort of cash crypto tournaments battle to earn. And then we have a play to earn. So every player will have basically an opportunity to do a practice round, which basically uses up our secondary token, which we don't really have a name yet, but the working title is like Little Token of Faith. And they will use that to basically do the practice rounds for all our games. And there's only a certain amount of that token they can earn per day by spinning like a daily wheel or logging in a certain number of times.
Right, and that would make the token more scarce, right?
Sure. So in regards to individual players, there's a limit to how much you can earn per day. But we do plan to give 100% of the supply to players though.
Oh, wow.
So the limit is really going to be on the punch token. So the punch token is sort of the primary company token, which is going to be organized, have governance. So it's going to be a DAO. And that actually has a limit of 200 billion.
Okay, so so not quite so scarce, right?
Right, 200 billion seems like a lot, but we're going to be having a lot of plans to create demand for the token, and only 200 billion will ever be created. So eventually, we plan to have a lot of demand for it as well.
Absolutely, and that's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the process to become part of the Punch community?
Sure. So you can go to my Telegram. We have a Telegram set up. Punch__games is our Twitter. And I believe we also have a Discord as well. And we have a couple of those links that we can send out later if you need.
Right. So whatever socials Oren just mentioned, you'll find here on the screen. So what potential does Punch Games hold to capture the global market?
Sure. So we sort of envision that the app stores that exist right now, Google Play and the Apple App Store, in the future will be DAO-based. And we hope to be the #1 DAO-based app store for Web3 games on mobile. So hopefully we can capture the entire market. And I hope that sort of DAO-based app stores actually eventually replaces the market that currently Google and Apple sort of have a stranglehold on right now. We also sort of believe that tournament-based monetization will eventually become the main monetization for mobile games, replacing in-app purchases and in-app ads.
Okay, so is that already happening?
So we're already sort of seeing that the monetization rate for tournament-based monetization for games is 300% higher ARPU than in-app purchase and ads. So it seems like we're just sort of predicting, it hasn't already sort of taken over, but it seems like a lot of games have been moving over to sort of tournament monetization, where they either have an esports tournament, which is like a traditional esports tournament for the players, or they have some kind of monetization where players can have sort of tournaments between themselves, and sort of instead of using sort of someone like us or someone like Skills, the developer does it themselves. So we see a lot of companies starting to do that. For example, Avia Games, that now have like a $200 or $300 million a year revenue run rate. So it seems to be a very successful business already. But we don't see really, like, say, the majority of games switching over yet, but we sort of predict that that will happen in the future.
So obviously there are already many platforms utilizing NFTs. So how will Punch bring mass adoption to this industry?
Great question. So we see a lot of traditional game studios moving into Web3. Some of them spend time coming up with their own tokenomics. Some of them spend time hiring someone who has a lot of experience in tokenomics, or spending all this time to integrate like Stardust or Avalanche, etc. We see us sort of coming in and sort of being a one-stop shop for traditional game studios that want to move into Web3, and rather than them spending a lot of time trying to do it themselves, they can just spend 1-2 hours integrating our SDK. And we sort of see that as something that a lot of studios will start moving over into. Another thing we do is that we focus on catering to traditional players and sort of seamlessly transition them into crypto holders. So that fits really well for a lot of traditional game studios that already have all these traditional players who are in their communities and their audiences. So it's not too hard for them to sort of partner with us. Because again, we're mostly focused on catering to the traditional players. So a lot of the things that we're doing internally sort of fits really well for traditional mobile game studios that don't want to sort of alienate their communities or alienate their traditional players. And yeah, that's something we do very well.
Right. So obviously we're here in Barcelona at the Avalanche Summit. So could you tell us a bit about any links or partnerships between Ava Labs and Punch Games?
Sure. So initially we partnered with a company called Avalanche, which is the IDO launchpad for Avalanche, but they're two separate companies and two different businesses. And an IDO, for people who out there don't know what that means, it means initial decentralized exchange offering, which is basically public token sale. So not only did we partner with them, they also invested in us. And in order for us to do a public token sale on Avalanche, we have to integrate Avalanche.
Right.
So we will be integrating Avalanche to do that.
Okay. And so what's the roadmap for that?
Sure. We're planning on sort of our token generation event, or TGE, maybe around late April or late May, depending on the market conditions. And then after that, we'll be doing a public token sale via Avalanche.
Okay, exciting times.
Yeah.
So just before we finish, I would like to know, what are your next steps at Punch Games as the CBO?
Sure. So the last few months, I've contributed probably around $1.2 million out of the $6.5 million we've raised. And then I have around $2 to $3 million more to go.
Whoa.
So that's my next step. Yeah.
Well, all the best, Oren.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oren, for taking the time.
Thank you for having me, Sunlight.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching this episode. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And yeah, so thank you so much, Oren, for coming.
Thank you, Sunlight, for having me.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time. Bye.